And by the end of this presentation, I want you all to realize that GMOs are a beneficial aspect to crop production, and they don't have any negative side effects or any negative side effects to us humans when we consume them. So according to GMOawareness.com, GMO stands for genetically modified organism. And genetic modification is the process of forcing genes from one species into completely different species. For an example, something like injecting fish genes into strawberries and tomatoes to keep them from freezing. As little of a problem as this may seem, starvation still resides in our country. Matter of fact, according to the organization Feeding America, 42.2 million Americans, or 13% of households, suffer from food insecurity, which means they don't have a reliable access to sufficient quality, nutritious foods that they need. Now, we're all fortunate to not grow up in this kind of environment, but let me just give you an example of what this feels like. Just try to imagine waking up in the morning with your food starved, with your stomach still hungry from the night before, and just hoping you get one meal in the day, one hot meal. So Christopher Jerry states in his 2015 article named Feeding the World One Genetically Modified Tomato at a Time, a Scientific Perspective, when talking about chronic hunger, that genetically modified crops could help relieve the problem of chronic hunger by providing increased yields and being more resistant to environmental stressors. So contrary to popular beliefs, GMOs are not something to be afraid of, and in fact are going to be a large part of the agricultural industry in the upcoming years. We must realize that GMO foods, because of their efficiency to grow, and their efficiency to grow, and realize that they do not have any health concerns, that we need to continue and use them more in our production of food. So now when we get to the grocery store, we seldomly think how efficiently our food is produced and what it was sacrificed to grow it. So GMOs do not only increase crop yield, but they also are more efficiently produced than organic foods. An article written by the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine in 2016 states that genetically modified crops offer economic and environmental benefits. For one, GMO crops takes less land to grow, which means we save we save soil, we save land. Land is used to the fullest potential, and we use less water, which can help if we ever get in another drought. It's also easier on the farmers because it's less land to manage. That means the farmers can put more acreage in for the amount of land they had, which means they make more money. GMO crops also require less pesticides, and according to an article written by Nicholas Starpoli, the director of the Genetic Literacy Project in 2016, he states that a positive environmental benefit of pesticides is that a global reduction of pesticide spraying from 581 billion kilograms between 1996 and 2014. Also, stated by Gordon Shelter, he talks about how pesticides are linked to skin cancer in his article in 2010 for the Environmental Health News. And he says that workers who apply certain pesticides to farm fields are twice as likely to contract melanoma. And like I said, with GMOs, the fruit already have a strong resistance to these diseases, which means you don't have to spray as many pesticides. Some of the diseases they're resistant to are thrips, aphids, locusts, fruit flies, and many others. For example, the pesticide DDT is linked to cancer and is proven to have a huge negative effect on people. One major fallacy is that GMOs cause cancer, when in reality it is the pesticides, not the GMOs. Furthermore, GMOs are more cheaply produced than organic foods. Sorry about that. And the more cheaply produced, and according to the article, GMOs may feed the world using fewer pesticides by Amy Maxman. By the year 2050, we're going to have to produce 40% more food for the world because of the population. The only way this is going to be able to happen is if we use GMOs to grow more food for the amount of acreage that we have. With growing and harvesting and process of GMOs clearly having more efficiency than organic foods, we have to address a common misconception. GMO crops have no unforeseen health effects on humans. The easiest way to put this is there's no conclusive evidence that GMOs increase cancer for us. A Forbes magazine article, Why GMOs Don't Cause Cancer, by Michael Stebbins, stated that cancer is a scary and complex group of diseases with many possible causes, but GMOs are not one of them. Another aspect of GMOs is that is very much overlooked is that they have high nutritional value. According to the Office of Science at the U.S. Department of Energy, one of the pros of genetically modified crops is they have better taste, increased nutrients, and resistance to disease and pests. And there's faster output of the crop, which means that you can get them in the field and get them harvested quicker. Because they are genetically modified, scientists can insert essential vitamins and nutrients into the gene code of the crops. Scientists can also make them taste better by having the texture and the flavor be more taste better to us. So who knows? Kids may be eating broccoli and wanting to do it. So the truth behind the argument is that there is no scientific proof that GMOs cause health problems to us, and we must see this as a substitution for organic foods. I'm not telling you eat one or the other. I'm just giving you guys facts. So now you know GMOs themselves have no negative effect on us. But it's our turn to take a step to increase the prevalence in the markets of the grocery store. As I mentioned earlier, GMOs are going to play a massive role in feeding the growing population in the next coming years because it's going to grow so heavily. We must continue to purchase the GMO products interchangeably with organic products to boost their production. This is because GMO products are not labeled, so you guys probably don't know when they are. Most of us have already been doing our part in this case. And another thing you can do is help vote against the labeling of GMOs. This probably sounds sketchy to you guys because you want to know what's in your food. But the president of Illinois Farm Bureau, Phil Nelson, stated in a CQ research article that mandatory labeling of GMO products will reduce the organic market share and potentially decimate a market that farmers and food industries have worked so hard to build. By taking these actions, we're going to be better prepared for feeding this growing population, and not just America, but the world. So in this speech, I hope you all realize that there are no negative effects. There are no negative effects of genetically modified foods. Between their efficiency in growing and then no negative health concerns, we must recognize that GMOs are the answer to solving world hunger in the future. We can do our part by voting against the labeling of GMO products and supporting the organic and GMO farmers. Hope that if you did have opposing views coming into this speech, that maybe you're a little more open-minded towards continuing the use of GMOs, and if you're already pro-GMO, you take steps to continue their use. Thank you.